My wife didn't get caught cheating in private. She got exposed in public. And the worst part, I was the last one to learn the truth. We had what I thought was a normal, stable marriage. It wasn't perfect. Nobody's is. But we had a rhythm. We'd go to work, come home, have dinner, watch a little TV, and then go to sleep. It was predictable, comfortable, and honestly, I liked it that way. There was no drama, nothing to raise any alarms. But then, slowly, things started to change. She began dressing differently, paying more attention to her clothes and makeup. She would smile at her reflection in a way I hadn't seen in years. A little secret smile, just for herself, before she left the house. I noticed the changes, of course. I just didn't understand what they meant. Yet I brushed them off as her just wanting to feel good about herself. A new phase. I was so wrong. One Saturday, her company was hosting a team dinner, and spouses were invited. It sounded like a nice evening, a chance to meet her colleagues properly. But when I mentioned going, she immediately shut it down. "Oh, you don't have to come," she said, a little too quickly. "It's just a boring work thing. You'd be bored out of your mind." Her tone wasn't just dismissive. It felt protective, like she was trying to protect something, or someone, from me. That little flicker of unease, that gut feeling you try to ignore, started to grow. I told her I wanted to go anyway, to support her. She argued against it, but I insisted. I wasn't going to sneak around or act suspicious. I was just genuinely curious now. What was so important about this dinner that she was so desperate for me to miss it? That night, as we got ready, the air between us was thick with a tension I couldn't name, and I had no idea that my simple curiosity was about to lead me straight into the most humiliating moment of my life. We arrived at the restaurant together, and for a moment, everything seemed normal. She introduced me to a few people. We made small talk. But then, across the room, she saw him, and her entire demeanor shifted. Her polite social smile vanished, and in its place was a smile so familiar it felt like a punch to the gut. It was a warm, genuine, unguarded smile. I knew that version of her smile. I had married that smile. But it wasn't for me. It was for him, another man. My stomach dropped. As the evening went on, I started noticing other things. Her coworkers would glance at me, then quickly look away, exchanging quiet looks with each other. It was the kind of look people share when they all in on a secret that you not a part of. One of her female colleagues, a woman I'd never met, even pulled me aside near the bar. She looked at me with this incredible sadness in her eyes and whispered, "He seemed like a really good guy." Her voice was full of apology. It wasn't what she said, but how she said it. That's when the ground beneath my feet started to feel like it was cracking wide open. The polite smiles, the knowing glances, the pity in that woman's eyes. They were all pieces of a puzzle I was only just beginning to see. The real moment of clarity, the one that shattered everything, came during the group photo. The photographer was trying to arrange everyone. People were shuffling around, laughing, standing next to their partners or friends. But my wife, she didn't stand next to me. She naturally, almost magnetically, stepped closer to him. It wasn't an overtly intimate gesture, not a hand on the waist or anything obvious like that. It was something far more damning. It was comfortable, the kind of effortless proximity you only have with someone you know deeply. Comfort is so much louder than chemistry. And in that one moment, looking at them, standing side perfectly at ease, while I stood on the outside, I felt a cold wave of embarrassment wash over me. The anger hadn't hit yet, just pure, public humiliation. Because I suddenly realized that every single person in that room, her friends, her colleagues, they all knew something I didn't. I wasn't just a husband. I was the punchline to a joke I hadn't even heard. The drive home was silent. The air in the car was so heavy it felt hard to breathe. I didn't yell. I didn't accuse. When we finally pulled into our driveway and turned off the engine, the silence was deafening. I turned to her, my voice steady, and asked only one question. "How long have I been the only one in the dark?" Her face completely changed. It wasn't the look of guilt I expected, it was terror, the terror of being caught. Her first words were a desperate defense. "It wasn't physical," she insisted, her voice shaking. "I promise, nothing physical happened." But that's not what I had asked. I wasn't asking for the details of her betrayal. I was asking for the truth about my own life. I was asking for honesty, and in response to my request for honesty, she gave me excuses. She gave me deflections. And then, finally, she gave me silence. And in that moment, I understood that silence is its own answer. It's the loudest confession of them all. Being cheated on is a deep kind of hurt. It's a betrayal of trust, of intimacy, but being the last one to know, that breaks something else entirely. It breaks your perception of reality. It makes you question every shared look, every inside joke, every quiet moment you thought was yours. It turns your life into a performance where you were the only one who didn't have the script. Standing there in the quiet of our car, I didn't feel the need to yell or slam the door. The anger had faded into a cold, hard clarity. I looked at her and said, very calmly, I will not be the outsider in my own marriage. And with that, I got out of the car and walked away. It wasn't a decision made in anger. It was a decision made out of dignity. The truth doesn't always come from the person who owes it to you. Sometimes it finds you in the most unexpected, most public of ways. Sometimes it comes from the quiet whispers in a room you weren't supposed to be in, or the pity in a stranger's eyes. And when that happens, you're faced with two choices. You can either help them protect their lies to save face, or you can protect your own self-respect. For a long time, I had been unconsciously protecting her secret. That night, I finally chose to protect myself. It was the hardest and best decision I ever made. So I have to ask you, if you were in my shoes and discovered the truth in such a public way, what would you do? Would you stay silent to avoid a scene? Or would you walk away right then and there? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching.